The Grateful Child. In a small, peaceful village surrounded by lush fields and meadows, there lived a little girl named Maya. She was the daughter of humble farmers, and though her family had little in terms of wealth, their home was filled with love, laughter, and warmth. Maya's parents worked hard to cultivate the land, and they taught her the value of hard work, kindness, and, above all, gratitude. One evening, after a long day of labor in the fields, Maya's parents prepared a simple meal: rice, a few vegetables from their garden, and a small piece of bread. They sat down to eat together at the table, weary from the day's work, yet content with the food before them. As they began to eat, Maya looked up at her parents, her big eyes shining with appreciation. With a gentle smile, she placed her small hands together in a prayer-like gesture and said, "Thank you for this meal, Mother and Father. I am so happy we have food to eat. It fills my belly and my heart." Her words, simple and sincere, filled the small room with a quiet sense of peace. Her parents smiled at her, their tired faces softening as they heard her gratitude. But as they ate, they couldn't help but think about the challenges they faced, how hard they worked to grow the food, how the seasons sometimes didn't provide enough, how the future always felt uncertain. They had known many times when they had very little to eat, and the weight of that hardship still lingered in their minds. Maya, however, seemed unaffected by these worries. She continued to eat her meal slowly, savoring every bite, and after each mouthful, she would say, "This is so good. I am thankful for the warmth of the food, and for the hands that prepared it." Her words, though simple, struck her parents deeply. Her thankfulness was so pure, so unburdened by fear or concern. It was as though, in Maya's eyes, the food was a gift in and of itself, not something to be taken for granted or only enjoyed in moments of abundance. After dinner, as they sat by the fire, Maya's father, Arjun, looked at his daughter with a thoughtful expression. He had been carrying the weight of the farm's troubles on his shoulders, and the uncertainty of tomorrow had often clouded his gratitude. The struggles, the droughts, the unpredictable weather, all of these things had made him focus on what was lacking rather than what was present. "Child," Arjun said, his voice soft and filled with reflection, "you remind me of something important. You find joy in what we have, no matter how little it may seem. I have spent so much time worrying about what we do not have that I have forgotten to appreciate what is right in front of me. Your simple thanks for the meal tonight has shown me that contentment comes not from what we wish for, but from what we already possess." Maya looked up at him, her face filled with innocence and wisdom beyond her years. "But, Father," she said, "we have everything we need. We have food, we have each other, and we have the beauty of the land around us. That is enough." Her mother, Reena, smiled as she listened. She had been working alongside Arjun for many years, and like him, she had often let the burdens of life overshadow her appreciation for the little joys that filled their days. She had forgotten, too, how to be truly grateful for the simple moments. "That's right," Reena said, taking Maya's hand. "We have more than enough to be thankful for. Perhaps we have not been seeing things as clearly as we should." The next day, as the sun rose over the village, Arjun and Reena went to the fields, but this time, they walked with a new perspective. They noticed the dew on the leaves, the sound of birds singing in the trees, and the warmth of the sun on their skin. They appreciated the soil beneath their feet and the simple satisfaction of tending to the land. Their hearts felt lighter, their steps more purposeful, and their work seemed less of a burden and more of a blessing. As the days passed, Maya's gratitude continued to inspire her parents. They no longer took their meals for granted, nor did they complain about their struggles. They celebrated the small victories, when the crops flourished, when a storm passed without damage, when they could share a meal together in peace. And every day, they gave thanks for the gifts that life had already provided them. One evening, as the family sat around the table once more, Maya looked up at her parents and said, "Thank you for the food, the love, and the warmth of our home. I am happy, and I am grateful for everything we have." Her words echoed in the quiet room, and her parents exchanged a glance. They realized that true happiness did not lie in accumulating more or longing for what they didn't have. It was in the appreciation of what was already theirs, the food, the love, the laughter, and the moments of peace. From that day on, Arjun and Reena carried Maya's lesson with them. Contentment is not something to be sought in the future or in material wealth, but something that is cultivated in the present moment, through gratitude. They had always had enough, they just needed to see it. And so, the simple thanks of a child transformed a family's life, teaching them that when we focus on what we have and express gratitude for it, life's gifts feel abundant, no matter how modest they may appear. Maya's gratitude, like a seed planted in fertile soil, grew into a lesson that would remain with them for the rest of their days. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.